The Wild Goose studio is based in the beautiful seaside town of Kinsale in the southwest of Ireland. Over 40 years ago, the studio was founded by Kathleen Smith and Brian Scott McCarthy, who shared a love of craft and Irish history. Kathleen had discovered a skill for carving and began to make intricate replicas of Irish archaeological artefacts out of clay. Brian, a graduate of the Central School of Art and Design in London, suggested she cast her carvings in bronze, and together they experimented until they found the best method. One of the first pieces they cast had been carved at the kitchen table in Kathleen's house. It was the famous Brendan's boat from the Kilnoran stone in Bantry.
I enjoyed it. I loved doing it, yeah. When I had a few things made, someone said to me, "What are you going to do with all these things?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know." And she said, "But there are craft shops opening up in Ireland now. Why don't you show them to them and see if they would be interested in having them?" And on my weekend off, I would go set off maybe up the west coast of Ireland. And I made an appointment at Shannon Airport to see the person in charge there. And he liked them so much that he ordered 6 each of everything. So I phoned Brian, who was in England, and I said, "What are we going to do? Somebody's ordered 6 of everything." And you know, we find it very difficult to make 6 of everything. And he said, oh, we'll probably have to form a company. And then people saw them in Shannon Airport who were going to America. And next thing we were getting phone calls from America. So of course they sold very well because there was nothing else like them around.
Back in West Cork, Kathleen and Brian needed a premises to house their new business. They settled on the picturesque town of Kinsale and bought an old coach house. They remained in their coach house premises for over 20 years, expanding the range and looking to find new ways of expressing meanings in the ancient symbols of Irish culture. In 2002, they moved to a newer premises on the outskirts of Kinsale, where Jamie McCarthy Fisher became the managing director.
Brian was my father-in-law, and it was very important to him as he approached retirement that the business stayed in the family. And he was very pleased that we managed to move into the second generation. Kathleen has passed on her mantle to Adam, who is our designer now. So Adam works with the very tools that have always been in the Wild Goose studio, Kathleen's tools. So there's a very nice continuity there.
The name of the studio has particular resonance for the company because the Wild Geese was the name given to the Irish soldiers and their families who left Ireland for France in the wake of the defeat of the Jacobite army.
Brian traced his ancestry back to Justin McCarthy, who was Lord Mountcashel. He was one of the original Wild Geese, and Brian felt a very strong association with the Wild Geese. Having been born in London and grown up in England, he saw himself as a wild goose, and his mission in life, in a way, was to get back to Ireland, and Wild Goose Studio was his means of doing that. Over the years, we've made a number of pieces which relate to the wild geese themselves, and the latest of these is they were carved a couple of years ago by Kathleen, and they're a pair of wild geese in flight. We paint a bronze mixture using pure bronze powder. We paint that into the mould. We pour in a resin backing to that. When they come out first, they're quite dull. They don't look anything like metal. But when they go under the polishing mops, they get the shine which people associate with wild goose and the great quality that we bring to the pieces. However far wild geese travel from their home, they always retain a sense of it, and they always retain the memory of how to get back there. And so this is very important about how the Irish have travelled all over the world, but always retain a very strong sense of home and their relationship with home.
I can't believe it's continued after all this time. So we set it up, the company was finally officially formed in 1970, so what's it now? 45 years, isn't it? Looks as if it's continuing, doesn't it?